Welcome to the Inspiring Coaches Show, the podcast devoted to inspiring coaches to bring their professional dreams to life by revealing the knowledge, insights, and best practices of other inspiring coaches. I'm your host, Jen Anderson, PCC, early settler of the coaching industry, lover of all things coaching, and what coaching is doing to make the world a better place. Well, hello out there, and welcome to our show. And as you all know, I love to start every coaching session, every podcast by asking, what can we celebrate? So I ask each of you to send in a celebration, and I would love to invite you to do that as well. And I'll talk about that in a second. But today's celebration comes from Joanne, who is a coach in Canada. And Joanne is celebrating that she was recently awarded her professional certified coach designation. And I really, really want to say congratulations to you, Joanne, because I know the journey that you went on to be here in this moment. And I want to thank you, and hopefully everyone listening is thanking you as well for your commitment to that level of professionalism, the high standards of being a truly impactful coach in the world. So I celebrate with you, Joanne, and congratulate you. All right. So I do want to invite anyone who would like to celebrate something. In fact, our guest, Mee Ok, actually sent in the celebration for us last month. So that's how much I love synchronicity. So anyone who wants to send in a celebration, just a sentence or two about something that's really going well in your coaching practice, how you're being a coach in the world, always keeping in mind the importance of confidentiality, of course. But we would love to honor you and celebrate the work that you're doing in the world along with you. So you can send that into Jennifer@coachingoutofthebox.com, and I will feature you in an upcoming podcast episode. All right, so today our guest is Coach Mee Ok Icaro. I'm saying that last name right? Yes?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you gave me the phonetic, but I think that's the first time I said it out loud to you to double check. Mee Ok is a unique and powerful voice in the world of visionary medicine and personal growth. As a life purpose coach, a writer, a book doula, a sacred medicine advisor, and integration specialist, Mee Ok is dedicated to helping individuals heal and find their path in life. Skilled in Gabor Mate's compassionate inquiry, a method she has personally integrated for over a decade to transform her own life, she integrates many teachings from a variety of traditions, from ancient to modern. With a passion for writing and a talent for prose, Mee Ok is an award-winning stylist and poet. Her work has appeared in notable publications like the LA Times, Boston Globe Magazine, and Michael Pollan's Trips Worth Telling anthology. She was even featured in Gabor Mate's New York Times bestseller, The Myth of Normal, and the Netflix docuseries Unwell. With over a decade of experience working with ayahuasca and dieting 7 master plants, Mee Ok is curing a near-fatal autoimmune disease, scleroderma, and is dedicated to helping others heal and recover their birthright of authenticity and truth. Mee Ok holds a BA in philosophy from Boston University and an MFA in creative nonfiction, and has studied the history of sexuality and medicine at Harvard. She's currently in the process of being initiated in her own indigenous tradition of Korean shamanism. Is it Madang? Is that how you say it? I forgot.
Mudong.
Mudong. I didn't think I had it right. Okay. Mudong, Korean shamanism. And as an ayahuasquera in the Shipibo lineage. All right. With a diverse set of passions, including racial and disability equity, adoptee advocacy, social justice, film, literature, doggies, and drag. Mee Ok is a curious soul, that I can confirm for you, with a wealth of knowledge and experience that she loves to share. And so that, my friends and listeners out there, is why I wanted to bring Mee Ok in to talk with us today. So Mee Ok is going to be sharing ideas on the role of coaching in the plant medicine, also known as psychedelic space, and the realm of the sacred. To get you centered on our topic, Mee Ok has provided us with a quote. How does the world present differently when you frame the people who have hurt you most in life as your greatest teachers? So while you're pondering that, we'll take a quick break to hear from our inspiring sponsor, and then we'll be right back with Mee Ok.
Whether you have your ICF certification or going through the process, you may be wondering how to set up and build a thriving coaching business. We know it's not easy to get started. There are so many unknowns, yet you know who you are and how your work can positively impact the lives of your clients. With this in mind, we have created the Business Builder Essentials for Coaches program. This program is led by a world-class experienced coach that has helped hundreds of coaches build their practices over the years. You can help your clients set and achieve their goals, learn new skills, and make positive changes in their lives. This can be an extremely rewarding experience. You don't have to go at it alone. This course is practical and pragmatic and gets working towards building your dream coaching business from day one. You've got this, and we're here to help. Reach out to an enrollment coach today. Let's make your dream a reality.
All right, so welcome back. And as a quick reminder, today we're being inspired by our guest, Mee Ok Icaro, on the role of coaching in the plant medicine, also known as psychedelic space, and the realm of the sacred. So welcome, Mee Ok.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, well, I am thrilled. As you know, I'm a big fan of yours. We've worked together in a few different ways,
Feeling is
mostly
mutual.
around coach training. Yeah, yeah. So it's
Yep.
exciting to have you here. And pretty soon we're going to be celebrating your associate certified coach designation.
That's right.
Right. Okay, good. So Mee Ok, I'd love to jump in and get right to the heart of the topic. So what would you most like to share with us about the role of coaching in the plant medicine space?
One thing that I noticed that the plant medicine ethos and coaching share is a real commitment to centering around the person and really honoring their uniqueness and meeting them where they are. You're there to support and help bring them into their agency and their authenticity. There's a lot of emphasis currently, which is great, in terms of integration with the medicine, because it's not just about the active ceremonial space. It's the idea that life is a ceremony. And we're trying to integrate these experiences so that the ceremony space and going back to our lives aren't so very different. That we're taking these teachings, we're learning how to not just leave it in what we call the Maloka, which is where the active medicine for ayahuasca takes place. The world becomes our temple, in other words. And so the more you work with these plants, the less divide there is between those two spaces. And so a big part of integration has been an emphasis with therapy, because many times these experiences with the plants or what have you will bring up some difficult memories, some somatic sites of trauma. And so, yeah, it's very important to have a therapist to support you and help you work those things out. But just as we know in coaching, there is that line or that difference between coaching and therapists and therapy. Therapy, to me, is so great to help you function, to understand why you are the way you are, to understand behavioral patterns and so forth. But so much of it is focused on the past, and helping you to function in the present. Whereas to me, coaching is really about goal setting and the future and the joy and the promise of becoming who you are and fulfilling your purpose. And sometimes, for example, many of my coaching clients have therapists. And many times when they're trying to meet their goals, they're seeing things that are getting in the way, different ways that they were programmed when they were children, certain beliefs that they have. And some of those things we can address in coaching sessions, but often from our coaching sessions, they'll say, I know what I'm going to talk about in therapy next week. And so when you're working with these plant medicines, they really open you in a way that's very difficult to get to as an adult in the society that's very go, go, go. In many ways, it brings you back to your essence. You may call it your original child. And in a way, you become more childlike without becoming more childish.
Mm.
It actually allows you to grow. And so I love coaching in this space because often what happens is not only do you see how you've lived your life as a result of certain patterns and conditioning, and perhaps due to trauma, but you also get a glimpse of what it was that you were meant to be and what got shut down. And you maybe get a glimpse of the promised land, so to speak. And so coaching can really show up to help you. It's like, okay, I know where I want to be. I know where I'm supposed to be, but how do I get there? And that does often, I think, require some therapy, but I love where coaching fits into that scenario.
Okay, so this is interesting. I didn't realize that the therapist piece was such a strong element within this. And I don't know, my logical brain is going kind of to process and how this unfolds. And so thinking about my understanding is that there's typically an experience. I know you have a retreat coming up in November where you're going to be providing the plant medicine. Is it fair to say experience? But
Yeah,
yeah,
we're going to be having ceremonies with indigenous
ceremonies.
healers. Yeah, but there's also a fair amount of processing. It's wonderful to engage with the plants, but it's also wonderful to engage with your own species as well.
Okay. Okay. So you engage in that way. So with the actual experience of the plant medicine, and then there's the opportunity to kind of process and grow in
Mhm.
that. And then what? That's what I'm curious about. Is it then the coaching that follows up with it? Is it like a time for engagement on their own? Well, integration, I guess, is really the word you've been using. Is it then integration? What? Am I making
Yeah,
sense?
it is about integration. And that's the thing, is that it's unique to every person. Every
Mm,
person's ceremonies are different. Even with the same person, no two ceremonies are going to be the same. And no two people's integration is going to look the same. Sometimes it means that you're going to leave the retreat and go to a silent meditation retreat afterwards and be really still and get really quiet. Sometimes it means you're going to go back and reconnect with your kids, and you know switch up your schedule. Sometimes it's a bigger thing, like you realize that you need to move, or maybe that the relationship you're in isn't serving you, or that you want to reconnect with someone who's been out of your life. So it's really about helping people to stay with the magic and the truth of their experience and bring it into their day-to-day experience, so that the reality that they occupy most still carries that magic.
mhm. Okay. Okay. So then that's what you were pointing to with the similarities with coaching, because it's not about that insight in the moment and then back to business or life as usual. It really is applying and living into what's been
Yeah.
surfaced and
And many times that simply means feeling into,
mm,
because so often we get caught up in our minds and what we think we should be doing. And as you know, with coaching, it's just about being present,
mm,
because people switch gears, they have insights, and it's often not paving a path, it's scything a path.
oh,
And so you can, often it's like with my path to coaching, I thought I was going to be doing this other program, but
mhm.
coaching was a requirement for it. And then I realized that I really loved coaching and I didn't even finish that program. And so it's about really staying connected to your body and your feeling. And what these plants do that's so amazing is it greatly increases your awareness.
Mm,
And so then it's like, what do you do with all of this new information? How do you process it? What does it mean for your life? And when you have more information, you probably don't want to live life as usual. You
mm,
want to make moves.
mhm,
And so coaching can be a really beautiful tool in that space when someone is so open and so connected and in such a place to have even more aha moments and are in that realm of self-discovery and really motivated.
mhm. This is really interesting because I really had seen these as very separate types of methodologies for supporting people in their growth. And you're very clearly explaining the integration piece. And I see why you light up now when you think about coaching and talk about your coaching in conjunction with it. Yeah. So what's most exciting to you around the possibilities in applying your coaching skills in this way and offering this to the world?
I love it because unlike at the human experience where I can't get inside of your consciousness and
Mhm.
move it, I can do it through speech and say, hey, why don't we look at this? It's a very interesting and mysterious process with these plants. In the world of ayahuasca, we call them plant spirits, and that's how the shamans refer to them. And you are connecting with a different consciousness. For any animal lovers, you can kind of learn to think like a dog, or, really your awareness increases to what they're aware of, given what they were given in this life. And so to move that even a step further to plants is extremely interesting. And to tap into that kind of intelligence, it's still a living, breathing thing. And every day, scientists are learning more and more about just how intelligent plants are, how trees warn each other when there's a parasite, how connected they are under the soil of the earth, how their roots intertwine, how they produce sugar and signals, and they communicate in different ways. And so the fact that just like we and animals can communicate, the fact that they also want to communicate with us in this way is amazing. And so these to have that consciousness actually in your consciousness, we ingest these medicines, and the path of becoming an ayahuasquera or a shaman in this tradition is really to become part plant, to become sort of a hybrid. And so the idea is that you have these plant spirits living inside of you, and they are communicating to you in a way that's different in the way that your dog communicates differently with you than a person. That they're asking for things, but they're not, hey, can I have this? And wouldn't that be nice? Oh, hey, my hip hurts, actually, that's why I'm whining. um, and so to actually have something that can work inside of you work in your dreams, uh, and make and sort of help you to leave your ordinary state of consciousness, and in fact consensus reality can be really powerful when you're looking for solutions.
Mm. This is really fascinating to me, yeah, because I had all kinds of, prior to meeting you, I had all kinds of things that I thought I knew about plant medicine and right. And I knew nothing, of course. I'm okay with that. I'm really excited to be learning more, but just thinking practically on my level of awareness and understanding, I talk to my plants. I talk to them throughout the day. I talk to them when I'm watering them. I thank them for flowering. I have a African violet that is blooming right now, and the African violet is the symbol of my book Plant Yourself Where You'll Bloom. And so I thank it for blooming because it didn't a few cycles, and she is again. Um, but I hadn't really thought about other ways of communicating and the healing that is, oh gosh, I'm hearing the language offered and granted through
Mm,
that. So
yeah.
thank you for even that little bit of awareness in this conversation. So who, you've got this retreat coming up. Who are you envisioning is, I don't know what language you would want to put to it, is ideal or something
Mm.
else?
It's a combination. For me, it is a mysterious thing. When the plants call to you, they do call to you. They come into your field of awareness. And just like with coaching, where we are putting it back onto the client to find their own power, it's people who know. It's people who feel drawn, who are resonating with me, with Soltara, the incredible retreat center that I've partnered with, and also this kind of work. It speaks to them. Their lives open up and can accommodate it. The dates work, the stars align, and it's something that they want to do. And that can come from any number of things. It could be because they just feel the call and they're willing to trust that. It could be because they have had long addiction issues and they've been in recovery and they're kind of wanting to move to the next level of healing with that. Or just they're becoming more and more aware of how certain trauma is holding them back in their lives, in relationships or career or some other dimension of their lives, or they're looking for healing. They've had mental health difficulties, they might have a physical illness, something like that. But it's really just about feeling called. And again, it's about feeling. It's
Mm,
about it's about feeling and having access to that inner knowing
mhm,
that this is for you and that this is the time. So, and then also one reason that I really love Soltara and that I recommend people go there, whether or not it's my retreat, is because it's such a safe place to experience this medicine, because a lot can go wrong. There's plenty of horror stories
mm,
on the internet about these medicines that aren't done in integrity.
mm,
And so they have medical doctors, Gabor Mate and Dennis McKenna are both on the advisory board. They have to be able to attend a retreat, there's a screening
mm,
where it's medical screening, there's psychologists, and then the shamans also have to, so they're not gonna, a lot of problems with these retreats is that they're just letting anybody in.
mm,
And that's just not safe.
mhm,
You need people who are going to not only be able to come and participate, but also leave and go back to their lives and be okay. So you want to check to make sure that people have support systems. There's a lot of thoughtfulness that goes into it, just like they call it surgery. Um, it's sort of an energetic surgery,
mhm.
but you don't just show up for surgery. There's outpatient, there's preparation, what's gonna be happening, where it's gonna be, and it's gonna be in a sterilized environment, and that this person who's performing the surgery is credible and
Mm,
isn't just some random person, right? So all of that applies. It just looks very different, but um, I do think of it as medicine in that way.
mm. Makes perfect sense. And really looking at a person holistically.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like, I mean, ayahuasca is such a wonderful coach, because unlike Western medicine, which pretty much relies on or allows the patient to be passive, you take a pill and you wait for it to do its thing. With ayahuasca, it's much more, ayahuasca wants to partner with you, much the way a coach does. It wants to support you. I often call it my metaphysical therapist, where it's like, it's going to keep me safe. It's going to show me how to do the exercises, but I'm the one that has to go in and
Mhm.
do the work.
And do the work.
Yeah, you can hire a professional trainer all the time, but if you never go to the gym on your own, what's the point? And so that's really a great metaphor for where integration fits in,
Mhm.
because you go to these ceremonies, you get some great teachings, you get great grounding, you come out very clear. I mean, the diets, the actual diet that you're on during that time, people come out, their eyes are bright, their skin is clear. They look, people can come in kind of gray and like just leave glowing. It's really stunning, just having really healthy food. And um, but then you leave, and the idea is to try to change our lifestyle to some
Mhm.
degree, shift our relationship to each other and to ourselves, to bring gratitude, because you are so grateful to these
Mhm.
medicines for what they're showing to you, how they're healing you, to the healers, to the facilitators, to everybody who's a part of this place in this world, to hold the space for this medicine to be worked with in such a respectful way. And so then to try to go back to your own life and create that for yourself. Um, yeah, it's an incredible thing.
Mhm. I'm hearing that. And then the coaching
Yeah,
sounds as though it's a part of that support system as well.
that's right. Because
Yeah.
it's, again, as we know, and I see this many times, people leave these retreats with high hopes of, I see I need to change this and I want to change this, but it's like, no, let's have a timeline. Let's have some accountability.
Mhm.
Let's not just slide back into, you know, eating fast food or, you know, whatever it was, not going to yoga regularly or whatever it is that your process is that, you
Mhm.
know, is is what works for you for self-care, for getting to where you want to go. Um, and so much of it, I think, too, is with these, with this indigenous medicine also comes the indigenous cultural context of healing. And so, yes, you are coming for your individual healing, but these ceremonies are held in a circle. None of us are healed unless all of us are healed. And
Mm.
so it's really a collective endeavor. And again, it's an expansion of awareness outside of ourselves to others. And so it's great to have that support. It's great to have that connection. It's great to have other people who are also in that process. And so having a coach who also works with this medicine, who's also connected with the plants and can help you stay with the truth
Mm.
and the mystery of what these plants offer, can really help keep keep you focused on what it is that you're meant to do and what you were so inspired to do when you left that retreat.
Mhm. It's interesting watching you because you're using language like truth and mystery and magic and it's there's a groundedness to you. And yet there's also and not yet, and there's also this real sense of possibility and what can be true for all of us, right? And this is your unique pathway in offering that.
Yeah, I
Wow.
owe a great deal to this path,
Yeah,
for sure,
you are
including my life.
yes. You are
Saved
definitely
my
walking
life.
your talk with it. So I love to ask Mee Ok, what's your next stretch? It may not be different than what you've shared, but what is your next stretch?
Yeah, thank you so much. I am growing my practice, not only working with a lot of people who work with these plant medicines, um, they're coming in contact with their story and they're seeing how they haven't lived authentically. And many of them want to write books. So I support people writing books.
Mhm.
So along with my regular coaching practice, I also am trying to offer more circles, because I am a big intersection of a lot of different demographic spaces. So I
Mhm.
run adoptee medicine circles specifically for adoptees who are working with plant medicines. And yeah, it's a space that's really close to my heart. I also work in BIPOC communities and LGBT communities. And I'm I'm so happy to be offering this first retreat because it's going to be ongoing. And what I like is when you drink ayahuasca, it really is an initiation of sorts. But there are levels of initiation. And
Mm,
so once you work with ayahuasca, there's also the jungle pharmacy of other plants,
mm,
and actually 25% of all pharmaceuticals come from plants in the Amazon. Tylenol comes from white willow and so forth. Not that that's an Amazonian plant, but just as an example, these are all pulled from nature.
mhm,
And so you can work directly with these plants in conjunction with ayahuasca, and that's a deeper initiation. And actually, that's the path to becoming a practitioner. And so the retreats that I'm giving, because to me, Soltara, if you're a first-time drinker, Soltara is the place to go.
mm,
They have so much support, such great guidance, such a high standard
mm,
there. And
mhm,
they are very integrated with the Western model, and also really honoring the indigenous. Uh, and so the retreat that I'm guiding there is somewhere between that more intense initiation where things get really strict to work with other plants. But it is stricter than a traditional ayahuasca retreat where things in an ayahuasca retreat that are optional, for example, they'll encourage you not to be on social media, to try to stay off your phone. Some people do choose to surrender their phones. At my retreat, we're taking your phone. We are, we're going to honor more silence as well.
mhm,
It's not going to be so much an open-ended sharing circle outside of ceremony. It's actually going to be processing and
mhm,
more integration.
mhm,
So it's going to be a bit more focused without without quite the intensity and commitment of a
mhm,
dieta, what we call a dieta. So it's a bit of a bridge.
mhm,
And then my hope is that when my teachers open their dieta center in Peru, that I'll be able to start bringing groups down there so
mm.
that they can begin to work with these other plants in that tradition as well and go deeper.
Oh, well, there's your stretch. Okay.
There it is.
Well, and one thing I know about you is when you decide to stretch, you commit wholeheartedly to the stretch.
I
And
do.
so it's your passion is so inspiring. And it's why I wanted you to be a part of the podcast. And thank
Thank
you for
you.
sharing your passion with those who are curious, right? Coaches by default are very curious people. If they do want to take the conversation a little further with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
They can visit my website, holdingcompassionate.space. There, they can learn more about the retreat and they can hook up to my social media as well. I also have a Substack where I kind of have a non-committal podcast of my own, but I also write pieces about different medicines and coaching and different things that I come across for me that I want to download and get out there and share. So yeah, they're welcome to. There are many ways to contact me, and I'm always happy to meet with people for a short 20-minute consultation to see how I can support them, to answer questions, to tell them that they're doing amazing because usually they are.
And they
So,
don't
but yeah,
know that.
everything's through the website,
Okay, perfect. So what's the website again? Holding.
holdingcompassionate.space.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, so Miok, Miak. There's something in that for me,
You
isn't
know?
there? I'm going to pay attention to the fact I said that. So we're going to take a quick break, but if you could hang on for just a second, I'd love to do a more formal thank you. Okay. All right. So we'll be right back.
Hello, listeners. This is a special message from the International Coaching Group. We're thrilled to have you with us today on the Inspiring Coaches Show. If you're in search of an ICF accredited coach educator, look no further. Our flagship 555 coaching skills training program has been taught to over 45,000 people in over 38 countries. Additionally, our signature Fast Track to ICF credential program has been a key reason why both individuals and corporations choose the International Coaching Group to support their coaching skills, training, and coaching journeys. Ready to take the next step? Visit www.coachingoutofthebox.com to learn more or schedule a call with one of our enrollment coaches. We're here to support you every step of the way. Don't wait, start your coaching journey today.
All right. So the Inspiring Coaches Show is always looking for more inspiring guests. And I feel as though the guests just keep getting more and more inspiring. So if you are interested in joining me on the show, please send an email to Jennifer at coachingoutofthebox.com and include your topic idea and a short blurb on how you think it will inspire coaches to bring their professional dreams to life. And as always, whatever platform you're finding us on, if you could remember to subscribe, we'd really appreciate being able to count on you as a member of our audience. And also, you can also let me know if you know of someone who might be a great guest for the show as well. You may not quite be ready yet. You will someday be ready, I'm sure. But if you have another guest that you think would be great for us, then please let me know. So as we all know, coaches who are inspired love to show gratitude. So thank you so much to you, Mee Ok, for being here and sharing from your incredible wisdom. You are a fascinating human being. And I heard somebody else tell you that last night. So thank you so much for all of this. And thank you to our inspiring sponsor, the International Coaching Group. Most of all, thank you to you, dear coaches who are listening and watching, for committing yourself to constantly seeking inspiration to bring your coaching dreams to life. So until next time, I'm Jen Anderson, Master Certified Coach, and this is the Inspiring Coaches Show.